Want me to take time, Sams?
Well, hello. Sorry, my computer's glitching out on me. What's new when Adam and Trey get together? Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 312 of the Canadian Football Countdown, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network and the Alternative Network. It's Grey Cup week, Adam. The most exciting week of the year, maybe for two teams anyway, and a lot of people ascending to the center of Canada in Winnipeg right now to take on the 112th Grey Cup. Adam, how you doing on this fine Thursday?
Not nervous yet, but getting there, starting to get a little bit of the excitement going. I mean, they just had the CFL awards. We won't talk about any of that tonight. We're here to talk about the Grey Cup game itself. And keyword of this podcast, high and tight. We're going to try to get this through as quick as we can for you, just because we know internet sometimes can be an issue. But hey, Trey, I'm excited. I got to be excited. My team is in the game, and it's not the team on my head.
Exactly. But yeah, exciting week or exciting Sunday of football ahead. We'll just get through some housekeeping notes. Of course, as always, we want to acknowledge that the Canadian Football Countdown is brought to you from Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene people, and the proud homeland of the Métis Nation, as well as from Treaty 4 territory, the traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis Nation. I mean, most people probably have heard by now, but if you're new to the show, if you're looking for more additional content, always check out the Canadian Football Countdown Community Discord. Adam, no, you're here. Mike, I don't know where Mike is anymore. Mike, he comes in once in a while, and Ryan's stepping away for the day on a personal note. So it's going to be you and I. We're going to, like you said, keep it short, keep it quick. We'll talk quick preview here. Man, you want to whip out your injury report? I know that's one of your favorite things to do. I think probably the best place to start is there. Who's on the injury report for Montreal? That could be some concern.
Yeah, there's a couple of injuries to be of note. Of course, the biggest one of the whole thing is Davis Alexander. And I mean, for Montreal, that's everything, essentially. Had another setback. I don't know what you want to call it. More than a setback. He was hampering laboring quite a little bit on that leg of his. He has a hamstring injury in the left hamstring. Did not look great. He didn't miss a down in the East final against Hamilton. However, he did look definitely labored on that leg. From what all accounts are, he's taking 4 or 5 treatments a day. He's going to do whatever it takes. I can guarantee he's going to play in the Grey Cup. Is he going to be 100%? Well, that remains to be seen. But Montreal needs him to be as close to 100% as he can. They are playing a defense in the Saskatchewan Roughriders that was really pressing Nathan Rourke once in a while. And if Davis Alexander can't move around, that's huge for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for an advantage. And you can guarantee they are not going to take a shot at that leg, but they are going to definitely know that, hey, that's where he is probably prone for an injury. So expect Davis Alexander not to be 100%, although you never know. Maybe he might just get enough treatments and do everything else right that he might not be in bad shape. Over also on the Montreal side, and one that was also interesting, or anything that you want to bring up for note for Davis Alexander, Trey?
I think he'll play. He obviously will play. Now again, 100% or not 100%. That will, we'll see that on Sunday clearly. But I think he's a guy with his mentality. He's going to be as close to 100% as possible, like in his mind anyway. And I don't know. I have a tough time believing it's going to be too much of a hindrance because how much did it hurt him last Sunday? Saturday? How much did it hurt him the Saturday before? But I think he'll be. He gave me. I think I said this in the Discord. He gave me Strevy vibes that can throw, right? So I don't think he's going to get slowed down by a hamstring. at all. Maybe the cold weather could mess with it, but I don't think that's too big of a concern. You?
I think it's going to be a concern. I mean, you got a Rough Riders defense that loves to put pressure on the quarterback, and he's a guy that, unless he can escape it, he does a lot with his legs, right? I mean, young quarterback doesn't want to maybe give up that mean chance for a sack or anything, and he also doesn't like throwing it away. So he's got to move around to be really effective for the Montreal Alouettes. Can he be? I don't think he'll be 100%, and that will hinder him. However, the Montreal offensive looks really good. I mean, as you said just before we got on to air, the receiving core is real deep. An injury of note, though, is limited in practice has been Austin Mack. He was, though, in the East Final as well. He was limited and not sure if he was going to go. He's going to go. We all know that. And, I mean, you still got Tyson Filpo, who has had really amazing games in the Grey Cup. You got James Letcher Jr. He was limited a little bit. But Charleston Rambo, you got so many other pieces in that Montreal receiving core that Davis Alexander should be able to find some open receivers for sure in this game. And Stevie Scott, the third, I think it is, or second, I'm not sure there. Stevie Scott definitely also looks really good. He's had some pretty good games as of note as of late. I'll go over to the Saskatchewan side of the football. I think the biggest injury everybody's been looking at for the Saskatchewan Roughriders has been the status of one receiver, Keyshawn Johnson. He was injured, did not play for the West Final. However, he did not practice on day one. He was out there with the ones for the first half of the practice this morning for the Roughriders. And then in the second half of the practice, he was out, but Joe Robustelli was in, who had an injury during that game against the BC Lions. I'm guessing concussion. So we'll see if Joe Robustelli is ready to go. One of those two guys is definitely going to be playing. I don't know really which. I'm thinking it's going to be Keyshawn Johnson if he can go. So that is with that. For Rough Riders, for any other statuses, Shane Ray still out with a neck injury. I'm guessing he's done for the season. Just the Rough Riders haven't bothered mentioning that. And also, if you look at the CFL injury report this week, it messes with you quite a bit because all of a sudden Kadeem Carey saying, oh, hey, he might, he's on the list. And I'm like, he ain't coming back. And there's a bunch of those other ones also in the Montreal side of things. So take it with a grain of salt. Probably the two biggest ones for the Riders. Again, Shane Ray, Keyshawn Johnson, Joe Robustelli in there. And then Montreal, Austin Mack, and of course, Davis Alexander, the one that everybody will be watching the left side of for the foreseeable little bit. Where do you want to move on from this, Trey? We talked a little bit about the offenses. Where do you see the Montreal offense going for this game?
I mean, I got to double check the weather, but all everything I've seen might be a little chilly, but nothing too crazy. And I think that means we're going to hopefully see some big passes, right? We're going to see Alexander do what he's been doing and he's got some big receivers that he can hit, the ones that are healthy. I think we're going to see Montreal, but both defenses are tight too. So we might see some running too on both sides, but I'm really thinking that whichever team can find that big play, like there might be a lot of nickel and diming. Again, it's going to be -10, I think, or -5, something like that. You ain't going to go throw the 80-yard bombs too much, but the team that does do it, I think, is the one that's going to, that could be the last second field goal. That could be the big touchdown before halftime or something like that. And I think that will be the difference. And that kind of play, I lean a little bit towards Montreal, but the running and controlling the ball and everything like that, I lean towards Saskatchewan. Am I kind of on the same vibe as you?
Yeah, sort of. I think that Saskatchewan probably is the team that's going to try to run the ball down your throat. And, I mean, they've got a great offensive line. Of course, one of them just won Offensive Player of the Year for the offensive line. That's Vyoshi Hardrick. So I could see them giving him a big dose of A.J. Ouellette all game long. That being said, on the offensive side of the football for Montreal and the running back side, you do have Stevie Scott. I mean, he is kind of a guy that's been pretty fresh because he only came in kind of halfway through the season conveniently against the Rough Riders when they got kind of beaten there by the Alouettes pretty badly way back in, I think it was week 15 or 6, somewhere there. So Stevie Scott looked good. I mean, if you're looking for a big play, though, I think that's more the Montreal Alouettes style. You're right. With Tyson Philpo in there, Austin Mack, Charleston Rambo, James Letcher Jr., and all those guys, I think that they want to air the ball up, especially against this Rough Rider secondary that once in a while kind of gives up the big ball to try to make a pick. So that'll be interesting to see. Mind you, though, also on the Saskatchewan side of the football, if you look, I think that AJ Ouellette is going to have a very tough time running the football, especially when you have Darnell Sankey in there trying to block it up as good as he can, as well as Tyrese. So I think both of those sides of the football are going to be tough to compete with. But hey, somebody's got to go and give eventually here. The Rough Riders can air it up. Will they air it up? That's another question. I know that I was hearing it all West Final from my buddy and from a few others in the crowd saying, can we stop running the football on first and 10? Can we at least try to air it up once? Because the Rough Riders really don't like airing the ball deep. Trevor Harris does not like throwing the football deep, it seems like this year. Or Mark Mueller doesn't want Trevor Harris throwing the football deep. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Maybe they're going to go and play a completely different game. I don't see that happening. But we'll see what goes down. I think the Rough Riders, though, if I have to give an offense an advantage out of the two, I think I give the Rough Riders a little bit of an advantage just because cold weather, Davis Alexander that might be banged up, really makes me think advantage Saskatchewan. Or am I wrong on that one, Trey?
No, I see that as well, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this game's interesting to me overall, especially on the offensive side, because both teams have good defenses we've seen. Again, I think it's going to be which offense breaks through, which running back breaks one for 20, 30 yards, which quarterback's able to get a big ball down the field, and maybe even special teams a little bit, which one gets the big return on that side, and what kicker misses a field goal. That could be a big thing too, right, in this one. So I think this game might be one of the closer ones on paper we've had lately, because a lot of times going into them lately, but like 3 of the last 4 of the Bombers were fairly heavy favorites, and the other one, Hamilton, was a pretty big favorite over Winnipeg. So I think this one, I think this one's closer than 3.5. I would actually put this one at 2.5 the line, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, well, when we move on over to the defensive side of the football, I think it's almost a little bit of a different story. I think the Montreal Alouettes, I'll be honest, have the advantage in this, and it kind of concerns me a little bit. The reason being is because the secondary of the Rough Riders, again, has been known to give up a big play once in a while. We've seen that last week with Keon Hatcher being wide open in the end zone. We've seen it with Nathan Rourke being able to run into the end zone pretty much unopposed for some of those plays last week against the Rough Riders defense. I think the Rough Riders front 4 is really good. I think that they can put pressure like anybody. Their linebacking core is pretty good at doing it as well. It still comes down to me for the secondary. Roland Milligan Jr., yes, he's a good player. Can he make that big play, though, when it matters? Same also with Marcus Sales and a few of the other pieces in there. I think they're good. CJ Rivas, I think, as a second safety, has been pretty good. But I think Montreal, their receivers really could do some damage on the Rough Riders if Davis Alexander has his deep throw available for him. On the other side of the football, I said it before, Tyrese Beverette and Darnell Sankey, that's the best linebacking core, I think, in the CFL, bar none. Noel Thorpe has that team lined up and ready to go. I think that is going to be a very tough thing for AJ Ouellette, or if they go and they put Thomas Bertrand-Hudon in there for a little bit, or even if they put Albert Awachi in there to go and be fullback for the Rough Riders, I think they're going to really have a hard time trying to get through that. I think if their Rough Riders are going to beat this team in defense and the offense is going to do anything, it's going to have to be nickel and diming. So 5-yard pass, hope your receivers can make another 3 or 4, and then AJ run for, I think, is what the Rough Riders are going to have to do, because it's going to be tough for them to get a lot of yards quickly. Like I've said 3 times already, I think today, the Rough Riders don't like going for that deep ball. They don't really have a huge deep threat in the receiving core. And Sam Emilus is more than happy just to take short runs. Same thing also, even when Robustelli was actually one of their deeper threats, and he's questionable for this game. Keyshawn Johnson did go down a little bit deeper, but not much as well. Really, their depth is Keon Schaefer Baker. They got lots of depth, but they don't like going deep. So I think it's going to have to be nickel and diming for the Rough Riders. Montreal, they can aim big and get a lot of yards quick if the Rough Riders let them. And we've seen that in that week 15-16 matchup there when Montreal went into Saskatchewan. They beat them deep. So, yeah. Any thoughts on the defenses otherwise, Trey?
No, I mean, I think looking at some stats, I don't have them in front of me. I had them all done up for last week, but I mean, both these teams have really good defenses, respectable to the others in the league. Gave up little points. Saskatchewan, both these teams were pretty good against the teams last week in the division finals. BC and Hamilton have been known to put up a fair amount of points on offense. I mean, that's what I mean. I think I think both sides are going to really try to the nickel and dime, like you said too, and then whoever gets that big play. And I'm going to reiterate that. I think that this game there's going to be one play, one mistake, one missed field goal, one something that's really going to be the turning point in this one. And it just mattered. I think it's all going to come down to who's on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you win a turnover battle, essentially, you have a very good shot of winning a football game. And Trevor Harris last week was really good. Again, completion percentage, I think of about 68%. Looked really sharp against the BC Lions. That being said, it was all short yardage plays. You didn't see a lot of deep throws. That's why he probably wasn't getting picked off or anything. Davis Alexander does aim the ball downfield a bit. He did get rewarded with a really nice catch by Tyler Snead. I think it was in the second quarter. I was trying to watch that game while sitting in the Mosaic Stadium's Harvard Lounge, and that was nice and warm in there. So I was trying to watch that and also try to keep track of the Hardy Cup. But no, honestly, I think Montreal, like I said, is that team that can go higher risk. And when they do go higher risk, sometimes Davis Alexander has those moments. We've seen it in the East semifinal when all of a sudden the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense were just kind of making Davis Alexander look pretty silly out there, and the rest of the Montreal Alouettes offense. So if the Riders can get on them early, this game could be a blowout as well. Just depending, you're right. Turnover battle is such a huge thing. I think probably advantage. I would say the Rough Riders are probably more of that team that is more ball hawk, but they also get burned once in a while as well. So Montreal, I think, is more of a stay at home. They do get their turnovers, but they're more of when somebody makes a mistake. Saskatchewan, they try to make mistakes happen, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing I've been thinking about where, and again, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but you watch a lot more. Sometimes it's been the discipline that's been a lot of a topic of conversation for Saskatchewan. Have they been better this year on that, or do you think they still make a lot of boneheaded penalties?
No, they've been way better than they have been for a little while now. No real amount of defense. They're playing hard football. They're playing I don't want to call what kind of football it is because it didn't work for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to go and call it that. So we'll just say it's B-ball. But the Riders do play a pretty good brand of it, and they do converge really quickly and hit you really hard when you do make a play. But they're doing it smart this year. They're not taking a lot of those second and short and all of a sudden taking a 10-yard holding penalty. Or second and it was going to be a convert, but then they take a holding, or they take a quick procedure call, or any of those lately. Corey Mace has done an excellent job of stopping that. The other thing also that's really nice is that lately, on the other side of the football as well, Jason Moss has actually kind of grown as a head coach. He's not going and grabbing the Gatorade container and making it a casualty anymore, which is nice. He has developed and actually matured into a pretty nice coach. Ever since leaving Saskatchewan and becoming a Montreal Alouette head coach, he's growing, and his quarterbacking and play, for the most part, has shown it. These two teams are reasonably disciplined. There's times, yes, that they can go a little bit over the edge, but I would say probably both teams are fairly disciplined nowadays.
No, I agree. I agree completely. Anyway, special teams. You want to jump to
Do we have to?
special teams on this? And we're going from one kicker who is 97% on the year or something like that, going to 75%. I think on the other side. Adam,
He's
what?
special, all right.
Yeah, how? We never condone violence on the show, but how big would the torches and pitchforks be if a certain Saskatchewan kicker missed a couple field goals on Sunday?
The vertical manure spreaders are already hooked up and ready. I think they're already filled. Not kidding. But honestly, yeah, it's Brett Lowther. And I'm sorry. I know it's a name from Mexico. Diaz, is it? Maltos Diaz?
Maltos. Yeah, Maltos.
Yeah, Maltos. Maltos has been a good kicker all season. He's been very accurate. He's been very good. He sent the Montreal Alouettes to the Grey Cup. If it wasn't for him, that game goes to overtime. And I mean, it was a 50-yard field goal. It wasn't a short one. Honestly, Maltos has been really good for the Montreal Alouettes all season. I think that their return game, James Letcher Jr. gives you consistent yards, which is really good. I think overall they have the special teams advantage. Well, obviously, when you look at what's happened over on the other side of the football, Brett Lowther has been an adventure. That's a nice way of saying it. It's been an adventure all season with the Rough Riders. He was perfect against the BC Lions. He's been better since being sat for that last game of the season. I mean, I guess it's only been one game. Hopefully he can continue that. I think actually, if you want to really look at the biggest concern in the Rough Riders game right now, it is their kickoff and punting capabilities. They are very, very, very poor in kicking return yard, giving up kicking yards. Punts are very poor for the Rough Riders. I'm sorry, I can't remember our kicker's name, number 74. But that being said, you know what? That's been a really big adventure for the Rough Riders and giving up very good yards after the catch for the return team. And James Letcher Jr. is a good returner. I think he can actually probably hurt the Rough Riders more than anywhere, especially if they can get some good yards right off of scrimmage or off of the kickoff return. Because, yeah, that's been an adventure. The Rough Riders, I mean, you got Mario Alford. I don't know. He hasn't been the same as he was a few years ago, I think. I don't know if he's starting to get age is a thing that everybody gets caught on eventually. No shot intended, but take a look at the Bombers. Again, the same thing over on the Rough Rider side. Mario Alford has been just kind of running into the play, kind of getting a couple yards, not really getting any of these real deep runs. And I don't know if he's just looking for too much or what the problem is, but Mario Alford has not looked 100% this year. So truly, if there was a real big advantage for the Montreal Alouettes, definitely the field goal percentage. I mean, you can't argue with the numbers. And kick and punting. I think the Rough Riders they could kick themselves in the foot there, or put themselves in the foot and have a big problem if they let out the yards that they did against BC Lions.
Yeah, I know for sure. Very interesting side here. Anything else you want to touch on this, or do we want to move on to my favorite segment?
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
That's clothing thoughts in that, huh?
I guess the only other one we got to go through, we may as well do it, is coaching. I mean, Corey Mace and I think Jason Moss both were nominated for Coach of the Year, I believe. So essentially, who wins the Grey Cup probably gets the coaching job, or gets the Coach of the Year, I would imagine.
Was that award being presented tonight?
You got to give full. I don't know if they give it tonight or tomorrow. I haven't heard. I haven't looked, honestly, for what the awards are. But honestly, Jason Moss has done a great job with his Montreal Alouettes. But I got to give all credit to their general, Danny Machocha. The cojones on that guy to go and say, I'm going to give up a fan favorite, a guy that took you to the Grey Cup a year ago, and say, you know what, I'm going with the kid over there on the bench, and I'm going to go and trade off Cody Fajardo. All the power in the world to the general manager. If you go on CFL.ca, they got a great article with Danny Machocha explaining how he talked to legendary manager / coach Wally Wano and said, "What would you do in my case?" And Wally said, "You know what? I've been there before," and he's had to make that tough decision. And give Danny Machocha all the credit for that. Jason Moss coached a very good game this year. He's got some great supporting cast with him. I mean, Anthony Calvillo is a great offensive mind. You've got Noel Thorpe, who's done it forever over on the defensive side. So I think they have one of the best coaching staff on the defense for the Rough Rider side. Obviously, Corey Mace's defense has just been stellar all season. A little bit, maybe, again, I keep saying on the secondary to be questioned, but what am I to say? And then Mark Mueller over on the offensive side has done a very good job with a very veteran quarterback to make sure that he stays upright and healthy. And he's done a lot with AJ Ouellette this year. And just, you know what, doing a lot of good stuff. Corey Mace, I think, has his team more maybe motivated and kind of got that run through the wall attitude, I think, for his team. That being said, I don't follow Montreal as close. If you check out the Montreal's flight deck, I bet you they are probably going and telling you how Jason Moss signed up for the FU Just Watch Us sign and pointing at that every 20 minutes. But honestly, coaching's almost a draw on this one. Maybe a slight edge to Montreal. But that being said, Corey Mace has something with him. 2 years in, and you've got the Rough Riders from a West Final defeat to a Grey Cup, 60 minutes to a Grey Cup, essentially. So all the thing to Corey Mace and also a little bit to Jeremy O'Day as well. Jeremy O'Day did make this team work and did bring in a team that's got real depth. But both teams I think are equal in coaching. Your thoughts, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, I think tip my hat to Montreal because this will be their potential, second in 3 years if they win. A little bit of a dynasty brewing there. And we have to remember a few years ago, before that last one they won, that was the year they had the last second ownership and they didn't really participate in free agency, right? I think something like that. And that's only 2 or 3 years ago. I remember us talking about that on our free agency show. And now 3 years later, they have 1 win, 2 appearances and 1 for sure win, if not a second win. I think you have to give up a lot to that to coaching and to that, because there's a few seasons and they build the culture there and everything. And I really like what I see from Montreal again. Like you said, the cojones to be like, hey, we're not going to go with Fajardo. There's a team that I stopped buying season tickets to that probably should have did that to their quarterback and said, hey, thanks for the ride, kid, but we're going to go in a different direction. But I mean, and from that side, but also I love Mace. He's a great coach, and I know it would be impossible, and we'll talk about it next week. But if Osh leaves, I'd be like, just give Mace the barn. I would do. He can have the whole coach's cap for all I care, just to see that look on your face. But no, I mean, I think I have to agree. Coaching has to be a wash here. I think the run game has been interesting in Saskatchewan, but having Andrew Harris there, we're still yucky watching him wearing green. But and then Montreal's got a bunch of different guys too, who Calvillo, like you said, and it's tough. It's tough. I give it a watch. I think the only side I'd give a little bit of edge to is maybe special teams towards Montreal because of the kicking. But then you just said, well, Saskatchewan's return game and punting is just that much better too. So I think that's why I said I think this game I would put it more 1.5 or 2.5 of a line than 3.5 because that 3.5 is a very interesting line.
Yeah, for sure. And the only other thing I've really got in this game here to talk about is the home field advantage. Yes, I know this game is in Winnipeg. How green is it going to be on Sunday evening in Winnipeg? I mean, I've heard nothing but complaints from the Bomber fans so far about you Rough Rider fans, you can't have our home dressing room. That was a big. Then all of a sudden it was, the Rough Riders are painting their logo on our field. We hate that. And now I'm hearing a whole pile of stories about Rough Rider fans just absolutely being probably the most proudest they've been to be in Winnipeg ever. Uh, is this a big factor up and who cares? Because it's still neutral site technically, or is this advantage Saskatchewan because of the home crowd coming?
I go back and forth because did Winnipeg have a huge advantage in Regina 2 years ago? I don't think so. I mean, I think there's still going to be a lot of Blue Bomber fans.
Show up?
No, but who knows Saskatchewan? Is Saskatchewan going to show up? Maybe there's a lot of, yeah, sure, there's a lot of tickets on the resale value, but there might be a lot of Blue Bomber fans there cheering for Montreal as well. I don't know. I think that possibility could still be in effect. If I do have to give one credit, and I'm going to go home field, it's only going to go to Saskatchewan, not because of the people in the stands, but because Winnipeg weather and Regina weather is a lot closer than Montreal weather. So I might give the weather aspect to the Rough Riders. Now, this is the CFL. Did you see that CPL game? Anyway, we'll talk about that. There's that blizzard goal. That's what it could be on Sunday here. But if it was like that, I do give a little bit of an edge to Saskatchewan just because Regina weather's a little bit closer. But fans, it's Grey Cup, man. This could be in, I don't even know, maybe a home Grey Cup, like an actual home Grey Cup, maybe. But even then, I don't know, when the lights are on and there's so many neutral fans and different media and this corporations and stuff, it's probably better than a Super Bowl at home, but it's not. I don't think it's that much of an advantage.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right. I think I don't think it'll be quite as big of advantages like for 2013 when it was green and only green in the crowd. And I mean, I still remember I've said it lots of times before, hearing the Henry Burris chant start at 2 p.m. At the moment that stepped onto the field for any sort of a toss in Saskatchewan. It was hilarious. But that being said, I think it's going to be pretty green in Saskatchewan. We're taking over Manitoba this week. I think it's going to be pretty green, to be honest with you. Saskatchewan is hyped because they haven't been in a Grey Cup since 2013. I think that's right. Yep. 2013. We finally got there. I think that the fan base is kind of lathered up and finally excited again for a little bit. Is it like 2013? A little bit. It also has that other feel like those other two games that I don't like talking about very much, because I also have that feeling in the back of my head. It's off-site. It's neutral. I mean, Calgary is not that far of a drive from Saskatchewan, just as much as it is to Winnipeg. So could it all of a sudden turn the other way? Never know. I just hope that Ryan didn't jinx it from what he says later on when we get into betting. You ready to move on to this trick?
Yeah, for sure. Just to add on, I popped up Tim's comment there. He says +2 on Sunday. Weather Network has it. He doesn't have the hourly yet. Has it +3 in the afternoon, but -3 in the evening. So I don't know what you would consider a 5 o'clock Central kickoff. I'd lean towards more evening than afternoon. But hey, we're going to be between 3 and -3 with the overnight -4. Could be a lot worse in Winnipeg. So I mean, +3 to -3 is heaven. Yeah, I'm good to move on. Let's go to our betting segment here. I've teased the line. Oh, I've even been saying the wrong line. It's not even 3.5. It's 4. A very interesting line here. So a Rouge and a field goal is what Vegas thinks. The Rough Riders are potentially better than the Alouettes. We'll also talk about and the over/under 49. I think that's a pretty solid line considering the defenses. Then sure, -3 is still not the easiest to score in either. So I think there'll be some interesting things here. And we'll talk about some props, which could be interesting too, weather dependent. But let's kick off with this. This is a tough line, man, because I hate the round numbers because you have the push opportunity. You're batting perfect, aren't you? Well, no, your predictions are, not your betting. Anyway.
Yeah, no, my predictions are wrong.
Let me see. What did Ryan say? Ryan said, "Give me Montreal +4 and the under." Okay, that's interesting. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take the Rough Riders -4. I hate that line, and but I'm going to do it, and I'll take the under as well. Adam, what are you thinking?
Well, make sure you say what Ryan actually said for the whole thing of what's going to happen in this game.
Oh, that's not for me to discuss. That's a you thing.
He went and he pretty much said Brett Wilder's going to miss a field goal and the Alouettes are going to win the Grey Cup. 2009's calling. That's over and done. The Rough Riders are a different team from 2009. Obviously, single guy left from there. Kavis Reed is not allowed in the stadium. Jason Armstead's not allowed to line up in the field goal position to take one back if he has to. It's not Damon Duval kicking the field goals for Montreal. This game is different. I've heard this comment like about 10 times already today. Oh, well, we're going to have 09 again. No, we're not. This is a whole different bag of wax. I'm going to go, well, that's one thing, you know what? And the head is saying something else a little bit. It's giving me that little bit of contradictory, but I got to go with the heart this one here. The Rough Riders are going to win their fifth ever Grey Cup. Going to celebrate like it's 2013. Beat the Montreal Alouettes. I'm going to take the under in this one here, and I'm going to take Saskatchewan -4. Half is a little piece in the back of my head still saying Davis Alexander lights this up. He goes undefeated, but you know what? He's going to lose eventually. He's not going to be perfect in his whole career. So I'm sorry. It ends at 12-0. The Rough Riders win this one.
No, I like it, man. I like it. We'll stick here, though, with betting. Of course, it's a festive day. A lot of prop bets. Got some crazy ones, kooky ones that we'll maybe wrap off with, but we'll just do some of the player ones right here. Keep it with Montreal. Davis Alexander, his over-under passing yards is 263.5. I'm going to go under. You know, he's kind of been a little bit quieter in the playoffs. And like we were talking about, I don't think there will be huge explosive plays down the field, even though that's Montreal. Well, both teams have the strong suit, but I'm going to go the under on this one. And surprisingly, Harris, they actually have him potentially more at 281.5. I'll take the under on that one too. But what do you think about the two quarterbacks?
Well, first of all, you said it was what, 268? For Davis Alexander?
263.5.
Sorry. 263.5. I'm going to go with the under on that one there. If Davis Alexander is any bit of banged up, he ain't going to be throwing much. So, you know what? No, I'll go with the under for Davis Alexander. And Trevor Harris is what?
281.5.
281.5? Yeah, I'm going to go with him. I think the Rough Riders are going to run the ball a lot, or attempt to run the ball a lot, and I don't think they're going to get. You know what? 280 was a lot of yards when you think about it, because what's the field? 110 yards. I mean, they run the ball down the field or move the ball with the pass down the field and nickel and dime it all the way. Well, that's still a lot of yards that's getting added up. I'm talking myself into the over for Trevor Harris. Yeah, I'm going to go with the over for Trevor Harris. And I'll say he gets like 290 or 300, but not much more than that. Plus, if he's real accurate, I mean, that helps a lot. So,
yeah, no, for sure. We'll go now to rushing yards. Man, there's a big difference between the two running backs. They got AJ Ouellette over under 80.5 rushing yards. And then Stevie Scott, they only got him at 44.5 over under yards. I would smash the over on both. I know OJ Ouellette's is a high one there at 80.5, but I think if they're going to win this game by the 4, he's going to be over 100 yards and maybe even over 120 all-purpose kind of thing. That's the kind of game AJ Ouellette's going to have. And on the other side too, I think if Montreal wants to control the ball, they're going to have to give Stevie Scott at least 50 yards. So I'm going to go over on those two. What do you think about AJ Ouellette at 80.5?
80.5 for AJ Ouellette. That's a lot of yards. And I think you're right. The Rough Riders almost have to hit that or more for when they hit 100 with AJ Ouellette. I don't know if they have only one loss all season when that happens, But if it is, I'll give the over for AJ Ouellette, and I'll give it for Stevie Scott. I mean, 44 yards, really, on a Grey Cup. He could do that in one play if he ends up breaking one. No, honestly, that's a no-brainer. I think that's almost a lock for the 44 yards if you can get it. But to AJ Ouellette, that's a little bit tougher. But yeah, I'll say over as well.
No, awesome, man. There's a few receiving. We won't talk about every receiver here. Well, maybe let's see how many they have here. Try to pick. Well, they have Keyshawn Johnson on here, and this could be an interesting one if he doesn't play or plays limited. 67.5. I would honestly hit the under, just hoping that he dresses but doesn't play a lot. Because if he doesn't play, they'll X the bet after you made it. So that's the only reason why I would maybe take the under. But if he does play healthy, I think over 67.5. But just something to think about there. Isn't Austin Mack too? Did you not say was questionable?
Austin Mack's questionable. For Keyshawn Johnson, I would go under. I think he'll be there, but I think he's going to be what you would call a decoy. So you know what? I expect probably you'll see a throws to Dante Myers. You're going to see some more to Keon Schaefer-Baker. I mean, they tried to use him a lot during the BC game. And if Joe Robustelli's good to go, they like Joe Robustelli. Even Tommy Neal actually had quite a few good yards as well. The Rough Riders have lots of options, but boy, Keyshawn Johnson makes a very good decoy out there.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked about Austin Mack, because he's up here as well at 39.5. That one would be another one I would flirt with the under. But if you're looking for some big play, Tyson, Philpott,
Austin Mack, that's very low for. That's very low. I agree. For Austin Mack, 39 yards.
I know, but it's that questionable stat. Normally, in hindsight, I would probably stay away from those two guys, just because you don't want to hit the under and then watch them both play 100%, and you don't want to hit the over thinking they will be 100%, and then they each get out there for one play and one target, and that's it. But one guy that maybe you do want to consider, because he usually gets a lot of the ball, is Tyson Philpott on Montreal's side. He's at 65.5. I'd hit the over on that. I think, again, if Montreal does go through the air, they're going to go to a guy like Philpott if Mack is out. They also go to Snead a lot, too, and he's at 57.5. I have a tough time seeing both these guys hitting that over, because I think, again, one guy might be looked at a little bit more than the other. Which over would you take? Philpott at 65.5 or Snead at 57.5?
I would probably take Tyler Snead. I think he's been the more consistent receiver for the Alouettes. Tyson Philpott, nothing wrong with him. And I mean, he had obviously that one big Grey Cup against the Bombers a couple of years. I think if I was going to go with a betting on this one, I think Tyler Snead is the guy that Davis Alexander looks for first. So I'm going to go with Tyler Snead getting the over. Philpott will get close to 65, or he might even still be over as well. That's a tough one, but definitely Tyler Snead. Yeah, I think he'll be over.
I'll take the Philpott. You take the Snead. We'll see if they both hit it, or watch them both be under, and we'll both be wrong there. Let's get the fun ones. We're getting to minute 45 here. Some fun ones. Pre-game, they have opening coin toss, heads or tails. It's got to be tails never fails, right?
You always call tails. I don't know if it will be tails. I mean, heads was a call in against BC, and the Riders won it because BC calls tails. Everybody calls tails when they're the visiting team. The Rough Riders get to choose because they are the visiting team. What the heck? I'll say it'll be tails this time.
I like tails as well. I always go with that. I hate these ones. The length of the national anthem from first note to last note, 90.5 seconds, I guess. I don't even know what an average O Canada is. So I don't know if 90.5 is a solid bet or not.
You know what? They got a country singer to this year. I'm sorry, I've never heard of the country singer that they have. She's from Nigerville or something like that, but near Winnipeg. Apparently good country.
Niverville, singer, you mean?
I don't know how fast she's going to sing. So
what did you just call it?
Niverville, yeah. Sorry.
Niverville, okay.
Nigerville.
Well, yeah, never mind.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I don't know how fast she sings or anything. I've never heard really. I probably heard her song and I'm like, I don't know what it is. But you know what? Honestly, I couldn't make a bet on this one. I would say maybe the over usually is safe. 90 seconds is, well, I think I've been talking almost for 90 seconds. So, yeah, we'll go with that. I'll go with the over.
Yeah, I'll go with you too. We both said tails, both over 90 seconds. And last but not least, the color of the sports drink that goes on afterwards. So there's a few options here. I'm surprised they have different odds. I guess somebody keeps track of this. Green, yellow, or lime is the favorite at plus 125. Orange is at plus 200. Blue is at plus 425. Red or pink is at 450. Clear or water, 600. Or purple, 600. Adam, we both went with the Rough Riders. Do you know what their favorite color of Gatorade is?
No, I don't, because Corey Mace, every time they get close to him with water, with the water jug, he looks back and says, if you spray me, I swear to gosh, I'm going to kill you all. So, yeah, no, I haven't seen him get splashed this year. So I'm going to go with green. Why not? I bet you anything there might be a good green color coming out of it. Or blue. I mean, that'd be pretty funny, just to annoy Winnipeg fans. One's blue, one's gold. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with green. What the heck? Because, green is the color.
I'm going to go with the long shot. Give me purple. I mean, I think that, yeah, they're going to have no green Kool-Aid in those Gatorade things. Give me the purple. Give me some good odds there.
You know what's going to be fun? You know what's going to be funny, though, Trey? In about a year, they're going to go and they're going to have the Rough Riders investigated for insider bettings on the Gatorade.
I mean, yeah. I mean, those baseball players are facing 65 years in jail. So, see, I'm surprised the Gatorade one can be allowed, because to me, there's got to be some water boy that can just, like, they always ask me to make purple.
Just right.
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how they can do that one legally, but that's fine. Or if I was like the national anthem singer, I would just put $1,000 bet on the under and just really rip through it, right? So, but yeah, that's the betting segments here. Man, we're gonna throw this up, clothing thoughts, but we'll just talk real quickly. We did before during the first week of the playoffs, we gave our bracket challenge here. We'll just go through it really quick as we get into the final here. I went Winnipeg would beat Montreal. That was clearly wrong, but I did have BC beating Calgary. And in the West final, I did have Saskatchewan beating BC. So I had that right as well. So I had a Winnipeg Saskatchewan Grey Cup, but unfortunately that was wrong. And of course, Montreal beating Hamilton there. Ryan, him and I had it wrong. He had the right East team. He had Montreal beating both Winnipeg and Hamilton. He, though, thought BC beat Calgary, which they did, but would beat Saskatchewan, and that was wrong. So he had Montreal BC Grey Cup. And Adam, you are currently correct in the bracket challenge. You had Montreal beating Winnipeg, and then Montreal beating Hamilton. You had BC beating Calgary, and of course Saskatchewan beating BC. And you have Saskatchewan beating Montreal in this one. Ryan had Montreal beating BC. And then, I had Winnipeg beating Saskatchewan, which would be funny. But anyway, hopefully Saskatchewan wins there for you. Anything else you want to touch on?
I was just going to go and I was just going to bring up that, you know what, I hate being right all the time, but you know what, it's sometimes a gift. I think for the last 4 out of 5 years since we've done the podcast and I've guessed, I've had 4 years out of 5 that I've had the perfect bracket. So, yeah, I'm sure hoping this year is going to be a perfect bracket as well, because otherwise, it's not going to be as fun. All I want to see is a really good game on Sunday. I don't want to see somebody win it because many men call or some BS like that. That's all I hope, and that the refs are good. It's not Tom Valesi. For the love of gosh, please don't be Tom Valesi's crew.
It's got to be
I'll
Majors, right? And he can
take
do his
100.
little.
Yeah, go have his big smirk on his face when he calls against the Rough Riders. He likes doing that. I've seen that before. Honestly, no, you know what? Kudos to Montreal. They've had a great. I hope the Rough Riders are better for my case because, man, I sure want to see a lot of happy fans going and charging down Victoria Avenue and Albert Street in Regina on Sunday night and painting the tree over in Winnipeg because that's always fun as well. Yeah, been a long season, man. Sure been a long season, it felt like.
Nope, for sure. And fantasy's all wrapped up, betting's all wrapped up. All this is wrapped up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're officially when our next show is. We generally do a surprise Grey Cup one on Sunday, but we haven't talked about it. So I don't know. I don't know if I should advertise that.
Yeah, we'll
Either
see.
Sunday or next week.
If I'm
Either
not out
Sunday
celebrating somewhere, maybe I'll be on.
Yeah. So
I'll be on if I'm not out celebrating.
You know what you can do to the 3 people who watch this? Hit that notification button on your YouTube or Podbean or wherever you listen to us. So if we do drop one on Sunday, you get the notification. If not, we'll likely maybe back on Wednesday or Thursday to kind of do a full season recap show, talk about some of that coaching news that we deliberately left off today so we can talk about it next week. And I have a feeling if one of those coaches does sign, it would be on Monday or Tuesday. So it'd be something good to talk about next week or following weeks. Adam, before I wrap up, where can people find you and what you got going on?
Well, you can find me at Adam Stewart 1 right now. I'll be probably trash talking anybody that's not trash talking the Rough Riders and celebrating. And you know what? Honestly, just having a fun time with all sorts of CFL fans all over the place. Hey, you know what? The Rough Riders only make the Grey Cup so many times. And when you make it in your opponent and in their opponent's rink, well, not in their rink, in their stadium and everything else, it's just a great time. You got to experience it over in Saskatchewan a few years ago when Winnipeg and Toronto did it. This is Saskatchewan's moment. I sure hope that they don't do like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did in that Grey Cup. But nevertheless, you know what? Yeah, find me at Adam Stewart 1. Come over, talk to us on Discord all week long. We want to get some big atmosphere going there. You can come and tell me how, or pick on me every time the Rough Riders get a fumble and an interception or a 13th man call. If there's one 13th man call during the Grey Cup, this province might explode over here. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. But no, honestly, come talk to us over on the Discord channels. Hey, Ryan, Mike's in there once in a while. Of course, we've got fans over there as well that just love coming and talking CFL, and we love talking to you. So make sure you join us on the Discord. And if you really want to follow me on Instagram as well, Farmer in Sask on the X. I promise I won't make any more Williamson back to Winnipeg references. That you can find me at X on Adam Stewart 1. Trey, where can guys find you?
You can find me on the X at Trey MB Harness. Always got a lot going on there. UFC, horse racing, more football. Now that the Blue Jays are done, you can find Ryan on the X at Cooper Trooper 42. He doesn't really post on there a lot, but he does post most. I don't want to break the illusion, but he's mostly the person that posts at CF Countdown Pod X account. Check out Mike at Mike Garrell on the X. He's always got something going on his Game Time TV. Speaking of that, did I mention that they were our sponsor? I don't think I did. Well, you know what? The Canadian Football Countdown is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Game Time TV. Learn more by visiting GameTimeTV.ca or by following on Facebook at Facebook.com/GameTimeTVMB. Now I said it, Mike. You're welcome. And also, of course, we are part of the Canadian Football Podcast Network. You can follow them at X at the CF Pod Network on Twitter, and the Alternative Football Network at the official AFN. gosh, we must be getting closer to UFL time. That's usually February or March. We're getting closer to that for them. I've seen a lot of soccer if we're going to talk about alternative football lately. But anyway,
and then the NFL is the complete chaos league this year.
I have no idea what's going on. I've stopped posting my picks in the Discord because I don't know what's going on. You mentioned the Discord. It's always so awkward because I never know how to properly. This is like trying to end a phone call with the girlfriend that you both don't want to hang up. I never know how to do this. Whatever
you hang up.
Exactly. Whatever podcast platform you're listening to, we appreciate if you do all the fun things such as like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, share the show with your friends. You know what? If you hate the show, share it with your enemies. A view's a view. Help us grow the show. We always appreciate that. The deep, dark bowels of Reddit. If you hate it, send us to your mother-in-law that you don't like. A view's a view. Thanks everyone for listening. On behalf of Adam, Mike, and Ryan as well for having a hell of a season. We'll see you next time. Keep an eye out. Bye-bye.